Hello, 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 beloveds, and welcome to another episode of A Spiritual Remedy. I am Sunshine Day, and it is my joy to greet you today. Golly, where are we today? February the 6th, 2023. And for those of you who are new to the show, I just want to welcome you and say that my show is geared for people who are ready to lay down their weapons of mass distraction and are ready to live their best life. Because I see a world where people are living their best life and loving it. And what I get an opportunity to do is to provide spiritual tools and loving support for your personal transformation. So let me know who's hanging out with me today. I would totally love to see who's hanging out with me today, and would totally want to know where you're at. Where are you? What's going on? What you doing? What you up to? What do you have? What's happening for you today? Good morning, Bertha. I'm so grateful for you. Bertha says, good morning. So grateful for this support you offer. What's up, dog? Sunny Cantrell Smith in Lexington, Kentucky. Bertha in Long Beach. Hello, Vida Spiritual Learning Center, who is the host of my show and who makes it possible for me to come to you now, is one of my greatest sponsors and supporters. And I want to let you know that if you don't know about Vida Spiritual Learning Center, Vida Spiritual Learning Center is a spiritual learning center that has been devised just for you. It teaches meditation, prayer, spiritual practices, and it goes deeper and deeper to support you on your road to recovery. And when I say road to recovery, what I mean is that road of recovering your wholeness, because who we are is whole, perfect, and complete. Oh, yeah, Sonny, you're in Asheville today. That's right, in Asheville, North Carolina. Please tell folks hello. How cool, how cool, how cool. Well, hey, Kevin. Kevin from Van Nuys, California. Love you, Rev. Thank you so much for hanging out today. You know, today I want to talk about how to step away from the distractions, right? I talk about weapons of mass distractions often, and that is not a term that I coined myself. I will credit Michael Bernard Beckwith, one of my early mentors on my spiritual path, as someone who makes up a lot of words, and I love them because they actually fit, my life. And so this idea of weapons of mass distraction really, really fits because I know for me, and let me know about you, I know for me that sometimes I am on a quest. I am on a quest to meditate on a daily basis or wake up in the wee hours of the morning and sleep spin. In other words, I wake up when it's before I can fight and talk myself out of getting on my spin bike, and I get on it. Or I know that sometimes, like this week for me, I'm looking at a budget and looking at my income and my expenses. And I haven't done my budget for 2023 yet, and here we are in February. No judgment, that's just the way it is. And yet, what happens is, inevitably, when I set out to do something, there's always something that will distract me from getting the thing done. Like sometimes it takes me 2 weeks or 3 weeks or, to get out a proposal or to do something that is actually for my highest and best. And there are these quote unquote weapons of mass distraction. Sometimes it's my cell phone, getting on social media, being on with some games on my phone, or sometimes I just want to veg out in front of the television. I would love for some of you to go ahead and share with me, what are some of the weapons of mass distraction in your life? What are some of those things that just kind of like, oh, squirrel, You're trying to focus on one thing. It's just like, oh, that squirrel is really so important, and I'm just gonna veg out and watch the squirrel. What are some of those things that are weapons of mass distraction that distract you from actually living your best life, doing the things that you know that you could be doing? And notice that I said could be doing, because as I'm waiting for you to go ahead and make that in your comments in the comment section and let me know about that, I'm using the word could where in the past I would use the word should. And I want to feel into that for a moment. Should sets up a lot of expectations. And it really goes in with what I'm talking about today. Should, when we should on ourselves, when we should on others, it really points to this idea that I have these expectations for myself. Now, I do. I do have these expectations for myself. I expect people to do certain things. They should be doing this, or they should be doing that, or this shouldn't be happening. And those shoulds, the shoulds are detrimental, and can put us in a place where I want to say where it just kind of sets us aback. Now, nobody's willing to admit any weapons of mass distraction right now, and that's okay. Weapons of mass distraction, also are those things for me that delay me. Okay, Nancy, thank you. My own mind distracts me in the form of procrastination. Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate you for that. Bertha, TV plus food, my weapons of mass distraction. Yes. And and if you're anything like me, Bertha, it's the food in front of the TV, right? It's like watching TV while eating all the stuff that I said, maybe not, having that extra ice cream. you know. Sunny says, "Hey, I find myself I distract myself with sleep. Yeah, don't want to face it, don't want to do it, and we sleep, right? So these are all things that are actually keeping us from our best life. And I'm wondering who you could be, who you could be, what you could be experiencing. Take to the bed, Sonny Cantrell. Yep, take to the bed. It's like, oh, let me just lay it down. Yeah, I'm wondering who we all could be if, in fact, we faced that distraction and invited it to go away. I wonder if we could actually invite it to go away, if we could actually remind ourselves and remind that distraction that you are backed by a power so awesome, so strong, powerful, infinite, that what those things are actually small in comparison to your God, to your higher power, to your spirit, to soul, to infinite intelligence. I'm wondering what your life could be like, what my life could be like, right? Because, for me, I'm simply sharing some of my path, the things that I've discovered, some of the things that I'm actually walking through even right now, right? So in sharing the journey about these weapons of mass distraction, wow, I distract myself from some apparent clutter, as we've moved into a new place. It's been several months. Good morning, Michelle. As we've moved in, I still have these boxes of trinkets and things, and I distract myself by I have work or I have certain things to do. In all transparency, you could judge me if you want to. It doesn't matter, right? What matters is that as we say it, it's like, this is what I have, this is what I haven't been doing, this is what has been distracting me. And what if I were to tell my quote unquote work, and not my job like an employer, but the things that I make important, whether it's TV or food or sleep or just my mental chatter. What if I were to say, enough already? I've got things to do. I have awesomeness to be. What if, in fact, we took this to prayer? What if, in fact, we were, through affirmative prayer, recognize that there's one power, one presence, one life, that life created everything out of itself, and that life is my life now. So Nancy's asking, what is the definition of distraction? Yeah. So when I am focused on getting something done, so there's things that I want to do, things that I want to experience. Even more than that, I want to experience my life. I want to experience my life fully. And when at the end of the day, when I ask myself, did I enjoy my life today? Was I happy today? Where did I meet people today? How did I interact? Was I present? And see, being present for me is being in the moment. Now, what are those things that take me away from being present and keep me living in the world of my mind, or keep me in some other place other than to be fully present with what is? For me, when I am distracted from reality, from what's in front of me, I've been taken away from being fully present. And so what is taking me away from being fully present? And it's usually the thoughts in my mind. And I start living in the past, which the past doesn't exist. And I start living in the future, and the future doesn't exist. So I breathe in this moment and go, what is distracting me from being fully present? And a lot of times it can be fear. So underneath those things that we do, so whether it's the cell phone that we're distracted by, the games, or whether it's drugs or alcohol or booze or sleep or food or anything like that, it's usually done because there is a fear, an anger. There's something underneath that takes us away from facing the reality. Am I where I want to be? Am I fully present? I might have this idea of the things that I want to accomplish. Some of those things may or may not get done, but that does not necessarily impact who I am. It's what I tell myself about not doing them. It's what I tell myself about not being the perfect weight or the perfect size or having the perfect muscles or looking a particular way out in public. It's the things that I tell myself about who I am that is truly, truly underneath all of the things that I use as a distraction. I'm wondering how that sits with you. I'm wondering if that fits. So to focus being our best self, Nancy, as you're asked that in the question marks in the comment section, yeah, as we focus on our best self, right? As we focus on our best self, is really the question of, am I okay right now? Yeah, so Michelle is saying, I run off 1,000 forms of fear. I run off 1,000 forms of fear on the daily. Yeah, I mean, that's the question, right? That's the question. If I'm simply being present, and I'm aware of being present. Like I'm right here with you right now. Um, but if someone says, hey, let's go to dinner, and I'm present in that moment and honest in that moment, I love it that Bertha says, hey, for me, it's a fear of lack, right? For me, it's a fear of lack. And I go, wow, I would love to go to dinner. I tell you what, can I make dinner at home? Or where do we want to go? I'm working with $20, $30, for dinner. Or, hey, I'd love to go to dinner. Will you treat me to dinner? When we're having that fear, sometimes what happens for many people is sometimes we're not honest enough to say, oh, I would love to go to dinner. Let's pick a place where there's food for me, healthy food for me, or I'd like to do this or do that. So Michelle and Bertha, when you're talking about that fear, a lot of times it's that fear of not looking good or fear of not having enough. And so what is that? What is that fear? It's false evidence appearing real, right? Or otherwise it's F everything and run, and in a lot of rooms, we say that in actuality, what you can do is face everything and recover. You can recover your whole self. You can recover yourself being truly present in the moment, right? Thank you, Michelle. Michelle says, amen. Um, so the idea here, right? The idea here is that these weapons of mass distraction are actually the symptom for the thoughts that lead us to not live our best life. And one of the things that I've been doing lately is on my Facebook page is putting the date, just the date, and nothing else. And the reason I'm doing that is because I am on a mission to live consciously every day, to have conscious moments, to be fully present in the day, because I don't want it to be, March or June or August or November of 2023, and I'm coming um, to I'm coming to kind of going, where did the time go? I don't want to do that. I want to live in the moment. How many times have we been like, dang, time is flying by so fast? Like, you know, we're, another birthday coming up. Like, it's important for us to actually recognize and be with it. And through a spiritual practice, we can begin to be less distracted and be fully present more and more and more. And how do we do that? So I've taught our affirmative prayer many, many times before on the show. And affirmative prayer, for those of you who are new to the show or might be new to affirmative prayer is a form of praying, but it is not, in essence, beseeching or begging some power, external power outside of ourselves to grant us and to be merciful upon us. But it is indeed recognizing that at our center, at our core, through vida, through our very life, through the life itself, that life is the higher power. And that as we have breath, as we have life, that we have that infinite power and potential right in us as us. I remind us on a regular basis that you are the unique, unrepeatable, magnificent way that God shows up in human form. Therefore, if in fact all of the religions of the world have been correct, in the beginning there was spirit, there was God, there was life, there was the word, whatever it is that they call it, there was that. And it was the only thing there. So it stands to reason that if it's the only thing there that it creates out of itself, therefore all of creation is the thing itself, is that power and presence. It is the creation of the creative intelligence anyway. Therefore, that which is true of the creative intelligence is true about its creation. Therefore, that which is true of spirit, infinite intelligence, God, Allah, perfect power, perfect intelligence is true about who you are. And so as we access that in affirmative prayer very quickly, as my time is coming to an end today, I just want to remind us that what we do in affirmative prayer is that we say that God is all there is, A-L-L, A-L-L, A-L-L. I remember that with my pinky, that God is all there is. And that though it might be a short word, it is a very powerful word, that God is all. God is all. And then I'm reminded that I am one with God, my marriage finger, right? The wedding band, that God and I are one, that there's nothing that can separate spirit from me. I am its creation, therefore that which is true of it is true for me. And then I simply put together and make tall statements, affirmative statements, those things that are true about me, right? Those things that are true about me. So I easily deal with reality. I'm present, I'm awake, I'm alert, I'm aware. I easily interact with people. I can handle all things. That within me there's a power and a presence and an intelligence that can handle everything. I have nothing to fear, no thing to fear. That within me is the courage to handle everything. And then my pointer finger, I point in thanksgiving and appreciation. I appreciate that this is the truth about my life. I appreciate that this word that I'm speaking is actually rewiring my brain, because as I speak it or as I say it internally, it is rewiring my brain. I am remembering the truth of who I am, so I point to it in a thanksgiving. I give thanks that this is the truth. I give thanks for my life. I give thanks that I'm willing to face this. I give thanks for a spiritual remedy. I give thanks for Vida Spiritual Learning Center. I give thanks for the things that I continuously learn day in and day out. I give thanks for that. And I get grateful. And then I simply release the word, thumbs up. And I love the thumbs up part of this prayer, this affirmative prayer, thumbs up. I let go. And when I let go, and because I've done this prayer, things are going to turn out for my highest good. They have to. They have to turn out for my highest good. Why? Because life is always seeking to express itself more fully. And to the degree in which I stay in alignment, to the degree in which I stay awake, alert, and aware, it's to that degree that I'm in the flow of life. But the minute I get distracted, now I'm no longer in the flow of my living. My focus is now on something different than the truth of who I am. So I gently bring myself back to center. Back to center, beloveds. I'm so happy that this is truly, truly helpful. Thank you, Sunny Day, for saying truth. Thank you, Bertha. Thank you so much for this talk. Absolutely, I'm so happy. And Michelle, I'm so glad you think it's fire. Yes, this is fire. It is important. So that's why we're here every week. I want to remind us too that that every week we have a gratitude list. I know this week I fell off the wagon. So if you've been texting me your gratitude, please, it's a one-on-one text, and I know that for a couple of days I got super busy and I was grateful, but I did not send the text. I can admit it. But I'm back on. My phone is charged up, and I have lots of gratitudes to share with all of you. So I want to remind you to text your gratitude list to me, and I will share my gratitude list back with you. Part of our prayer is giving thanks, and what I say is what you appreciate appreciates. And so I appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I look forward to next week where there'll be another inspired message and interaction. Please turn your friends on to A Spiritual Remedy. And I want to remind you to check out our website at vidaslc.org. If you're ready to get into a spiritual practice, March the 6th and the 8th, I'm going to be having a class on how to develop and how to start a morning spiritual practice. And then on the 8th is how to develop and start an evening spiritual practice. Things like the prayer that I just shared with you using my hand, that 5-step prayer, are going to be some of the things that I'm going to be teaching and actually helping people to schedule in their day-to-day life, because these are the spiritual practices, the life-affirming practices that when we put into place, our life changes, and then we are less distracted because we're more in alignment and more accepting of how awesome we truly are. So please check out the website. You can sign up there for the course. But in the meantime, know that you are loved. Thanks for tuning in. And until next week, I'll see you then. Bye for now.